Wiley from Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a musician, recording artist, songwriter, aspiring actor, screenwriter.
What's your earliest music memory?
After I bought Watch the Throne when I was in 7th grade, and I had already been a huge fan. I was really into Lil Wayne, and I went through a huge Eminem phase in middle school. But it all just made me start writing. So I probably wrote my first songs when I was in 8th grade, but I didn't record it. I recorded on voice memos and shit. But I didn't even know about YouTube beats until high school, and that kind of changed my life because I was like, damn, I can record to this. I think the first thing I ever recorded was a remix of Over by Drake. I rapped over that on some really silly shit. Yeah, yeah, that's probably when I started. I think that was my first song I put out was 9th grade.
Talk to me about my favorite song, which is Pink Skies.
Pink Skies was I was in a period of a lot of creative frustration, and I felt I was mad at myself too because I felt I couldn't write anything and I just wasn't coming up with stuff. And I had that beat for a little while, and so one night I was just drinking. I used to record in my parents' basement. So I had a little setup down there, so I was just kind of drunk, and I was listening to this beat, and I was just feeling very in the moment, I don't know, I just laid it down. I made that demo kind of in 2 takes. I just did the whole main part, and I stacked it, and it was just a moment where I was just really into the song, and that ended up being the demo that we put out. We never re-recorded it. We were gonna try to remake it and all this stuff, but I just every time I listened to it, I was I think that was the best representation of literally how I was feeling in that moment. I can't change that. And yeah, that's just what it was. I sat on that song for 2 years, man. I used to play, it's a big part of my live set. It has been for over a year because I play the live version with the bands, but it got to a place where it didn't fit on my album, and I wanted people to have it. I wanted to put it out. So yeah, that's pretty much the story behind it. Yeah, I was just going through a lot of shit, and I think people can relate to the song because it's just very representative of what we kind of go through, trying to be creative, especially when you're in this in-between phase in life where you don't know what you want to do. Yeah.
Definitely. Besides for that, what song would you tell people to go listen to of yours?
I'll probably say my song August on SoundCloud. That song was it was kind of it was a similar situation, where I was really just depressed. I was not fit, I was not doing very well at college. I didn't like it, and I was just feeling very trapped and really stuck. And I think that song was really representative of what it feels like when you graduate high school and suddenly you got to make all these decisions and figure out who you want to be, and that's what it's about. It's just kind of feeling I don't have an outlet, feeling you wish that you did things differently as you were coming up to make it easier for yourself now. I was in a place where I felt if I knew what I did then about music and about myself, I could have really made high school a bigger thing, and in high school nobody wanted to hear my music, man. It was not cool. I got bullied pretty severely for it, which is whatever. I was fine with it. That's kind of the risk you take when you try to do something creative. But that was the first song that I really had that people really related to live and knew the words, and I don't know, that song's important to me to this day. I wish that I had planned the rollout better because I just kind of dropped it. But I would say that one, yeah, definitely. Hopefully this year is gonna be crazy. I spent all last year not really playing shows and focusing on perfecting kind of a live set and finishing an album. And I shot 4 music videos, and we shot a video in New York. We were let's do this, because last year was really difficult. One of my close friends passed away, close collaborators at the beginning of the year, and we were really geared for his album, and his album's beautiful, but now we have to wait and figure out how it's gonna be. So we just kind of redirected that energy. I was more of a long-term thing, I think, for my team, and we were just let's make this happen now, because that's the quickest way that we can cement ourselves in a position where his legacy can live on, and I can have a platform for my music that I wouldn't otherwise have. So we just really went hard like the whole year, making so many songs. Like I probably have like 2 albums worth of songs that won't come out, but that, you know, that's part of it. Like I think you gotta just make what feels right in the moment. But the album, it will be out this spring. It's not coming out this month, but hopefully it'll be out by March. That's what I'm hoping for. And then I'm gonna immediately direct my energy into trying to play shows. I'm trying to book some shows at South by, because I did South by last year on a really small scale, and I really want to do it like where I've got a show every day. And I want to put out a mixtape at the end of the year too. I just want to make like a project that feels more kind of like my experience in Atlanta and the Atlanta scene. Like the kids here who are so talented, who I feel like don't have, I don't know, I feel like the best possible outcome for me would be if my album does do what I hope it does, and like people are feeling it and it gives me that bigger platform, then it's even easier for me to bring all my friends up with me, you know? I think like there's so much talent in Atlanta that just gets overlooked. I don't know why our city doesn't get taken seriously as like an underground outlet, because we have just as much talent as Chicago did. I mean, Chicago obviously still talented, but a few years ago when they were really having their renaissance, like I think we're ready for that. It just takes one of us getting that platform, you know? That's how I feel. That's what I hope happens this year, is that we all get recognized. Kenny, Jazz, David, Daniel, anybody, man, like, especially people that have always been there for me and like supported me. I just want to see everybody prosper in like whatever form that takes.
Definitely. Talk to me about those feelings, like about getting out of school and kind of being in between and like not knowing what you want to do, because I know so many kids and people, you know, nowadays are like struggling with that, and they might like, you know, want to follow something, but it's like they can't see the end of the road or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of, I think everybody, especially, okay, everybody, but definitely people who their goal in life, like what they want to do is something creative, is some form of creative expression. It's not easy because no one wants you to do that. Nobody, like, I think I've met one person in my life who was like, oh, my parents told me like I need to do music, like that's my passion and I should follow it, you know? Like that's not many people get that from their parents. My dad, who like made music all growing up and like played in bands and like opened for Widespread Panic, and like he kind of saw parts of the industry, and like that was his dream for a while. And he told me like in high school, he was like, you're not gonna make it as a musician, like there's no point in trying because it's so difficult. And that wasn't to discourage me from pursuing it so much as he was just like, you need to do this, you need to go to college, you need to get this and this. And I think it's just like, it's hard because you feel like you don't really have any other option, especially when you start making music. And like when you start making music, you're so excited about it, like the way it sounds, everything. You're like, this is so dope. But it's really hard to get that lens of everybody who's consuming this is not going to instantly be like, oh, this was a big deal for him that he finally made a song and put it out. Like it's more just like, this isn't good to us, fuck you, you know? And so I think that's what a lot of people can't handle, that like they put out a song and they don't understand why nobody cares. Same with shows. I've been to hundreds of shows where like I was literally at a show where this girl snatched somebody's phone out their hand and she was like, y'all gotta pay attention to me, like I'm up here performing. I'm like, no we don't, I don't owe you shit, like this is a bad set, you know what I mean? Like I've had bad sets, I've watched many of them. Like I think honestly what I would say is like kind of what I say to my brother, who's like, he hates high school, like he's never really done well at it. He's a smart kid, but like he just doesn't give a fuck about it. And like, you know, he wants to do this and he wants to design clothes and like he wants to do all this stuff, but it's like the world kind of tells you can't accomplish your goals on your own. You like need all this other stuff, you need connections, and like you need whatever it is. So I just tell him like, do right by yourself and put yourself in a place where you're surrounded by people who want to encourage you without being yes men. Like they want to challenge you and encourage you, and you can do both. A lot of people think there's no way to like work a job and go to college and get a degree and also be in the arts. And you know, I feel like I don't like college, I don't like going to class, and I hate working. Like more than anything, I hate working as like a server, like all that shit. Like it's really depressing for me because I just don't like people telling me what to do. Like and you just kind of have to swallow it. Like, I mean, I saw some article like Tierra Whack is still working a 9 to 5, you know, like, it's not easy. There's not a ton of money in this right away. And if you're in it because you want to be really lucratively successful financially, that's fine, but you have to have more than that driving you. And it's not about, I want to change music, I want to change art. Like, that's running before you learn how to walk. Your goal should be, I want to express myself in the best way possible, and I hope that people can relate to that, you know? I think that's what it really has to boil down to, because if you get caught up doing it for the wrong reasons, then you're going to not take the small wins as wins. You're just going to think of them as, I deserve more. And I went through a lot of that. Like, I deserve to be on blogs. I deserve to be, you know, noticed and recognized and, like, get booked on these things. Like, you know, I'll see peers, like, graduate from kind of the scene and go on to do bigger things. And it's like, you feel jealous. And you feel like it's, like, not fair because I'm talented. Like, where's my, you know, record deal? Or, like, whatever it is. But once you start to get those opportunities and you start to get, like, on blogs or whatever it is, it kind of loses its luster, and you realize, like, this isn't what is important, you know, in this industry. Like, I don't care as much about this as I care about getting a bigger platform so I can do what I love on a bigger stage. That's really all it is, you know? Like, I want to be successful because I want to be able to keep doing this and keep making art. Like, I'm going to be doing it no matter what, but it would be nice to have a bigger platform and be able to fully realize your vision, you know, as, like, I guess cliche as that statement is. I think that's kind of a lot of what it boils down to. If you want to be a filmmaker, whatever it is, you can't rent a camera and go shoot a short film and get it bought by A24. That's just not, like, maybe that's happened before, but I've never heard of that, you know. It takes a lot of time, man.
Nice. All right. I think that pretty much, like, wraps up what I would have to ask. Is there anything else, like, you want to add? Or, like, a final, like, note to finish on?
Yeah, if any casting directors watch this, I'm trying to act. I've been acting since I was, like, 8. I don't understand it. The acting, like, thing, the industry part of it, I've looked into it. I don't like, you know, I wanted to take acting classes at Georgia State, but, like, the shit that they're doing in those classes I did at, like, summer camp. So I'm just like, but I'm serious about it. You know what I'm saying? Short film creators, whatever it is, I got a flexible schedule. Hit me up. I'm trying to method act. You know what I'm saying? I want to reinvent myself. Yeah, that's all I'll say.